Cave exploring, also known as spelunking or potholing, is a pastime for thrill seekers who aren't afraid to venture into some of the darkest, most challenging places on Earth. For these adventurers, navigating a natural cave system and overcoming its obstacles is an exhilarating way to push their limits and connect with nature. However, like all dangerous hobbies, it comes with the ever-present risk of death. Regardless of experience level, even the simplest mistake can be fatal. On November 24, 2009, John Edward Jones was visiting family in Stansbury Park, Utah, for Thanksgiving. The family decided to do some cave exploring, a pastime they enjoyed during John's childhood. They chose a popular spot they had never visited before, Nutty Putty Cave, named for the soft brown clay lining its interior. Around 8 p.m., John entered the cave with 10 friends and family members, starting in a large chamber known as the Big Slide. Soon after, John and his brother Josh split from the group with 2 other friends to find a more challenging section of the cave called the Birth Canal. The 4 decided to separate to locate the Birth Canal. John chose a waist-high hole and went in headfirst. As he progressed, he found no place big enough to turn around and exit the tunnel, so he continued forward. Eventually, he encountered a fissure that dropped almost straight down, which seemed to widen at the bottom, potentially offering a spot to turn around. Rescuers believe John inhaled deeply to investigate the fissure, sliding his torso over a lip of rock and into the 10-inch wide side of the crevice. When he exhaled, his chest expanded, and he became stuck. Instead of widening to allow John to get out, the crack grew smaller and nearly closed. Struggling to free himself only caused John to slide deeper into an even tighter, 8.5-inch wide section of the fissure. One arm was pinned underneath him, and the other was forced backward by an outcropping of rock. His headlamp was also knocked off. When John's brother Josh heard that his older brother was stuck, he made his way down the waist-high tunnel to help him. However, after getting stuck himself in a section known as the corkscrew and seeing how far John was wedged in the crevice, Josh realized they had a serious problem. John was almost completely upside down, with only his feet and about 6 inches of his legs sticking out of the tight opening. Josh attempted to pull him out but soon realized they would need help to free his brother. He told John he was going to call for help and left a friend to stay with John while he made the journey out of the cave to alert emergency services. Once he was sure help was on the way, Josh returned to John's side, taking the friend's place. The Mormon brothers passed the time by praying and talking about Josh's plans for the future. Just before midnight, over 3 hours after John first got stuck, members of the rescue team began arriving. It took them about 30 minutes to reach the tunnel where John was trapped. Around 12:30 a.m., rescue team volunteer Susie Matola reached John and greeted him. "Hi John, my name is Susie. How's it going?" John's replies sounded distant. "Hi Susie, thanks for coming, but I really want to get out." Susie reassured him, "Oh no worries, John. You're going to be out of here lickety-split." However, as she assessed the situation, she knew it was going to be a difficult task. John, who was 6 feet tall and weighed 200 pounds, was wedged upside down in a tight crevice, with only a small section of his legs and feet protruding. The human body is designed to function upright, with the heart working with gravity rather than against it. When rescuers informed trauma physician Doug Murdoch that John was nearly upside down, he knew the situation was critical. "Being upside down, your body has to pump the blood out of the brain all the time," he explained. "Your body isn't set up to do that. The entire system starts to fail." Murdoch headed for the scene, aware that blood and fluids would be pooling in John's brain and lungs. His circulation was slowing, capillaries were leaking, and toxins were building up in his blood. If the rescuers managed to free John, those toxins could rush to his heart and kill him. There are very few studies on the long-term effects of being upside down, but Murdoch estimated that John might have 8 to 10 hours to live. The rescuers tried to tie a rope around John's legs and pull him out, but the friction of the rope against the cave walls was too great. The confined space and the depth at which John was stuck made using large equipment impossible. Many chisels and a drill were used to widen parts of the cave, but the smaller tools were not working fast enough. They then began constructing a pulley system using climbing cams, but each trip into the tunnel to pass a piece of equipment took nearly an hour. The rescue team did their best to keep John comfortable by singing religious hymns and engaging in conversation. However, as the hours passed, John's voice grew nasally, and his breathing became labored as fluids slowly filled his lungs. When they finally got the pulley system operational and began inching John out of the crevice, his feet hit the tunnel's low ceiling, and his heart struggled to pump blood into his legs. The contact made him scream in pain. That's when the rescuers came to a horrible realization. The angle of the tunnel meant they couldn't bend John's body backward without likely breaking his legs. In his weakened state, the shock could kill him, and the cams anchoring the pulleys were slipping from their places on the cave walls. Around 24 hours later, they had made little progress, and John was beginning to have a very difficult time breathing. Over 100 men and women worked tirelessly to free John from his prison. Unfortunately, 27 hours into the rescue, John became unresponsive. Just before midnight on Wednesday, November 25, John Jones was declared dead. The 26-year-old medical student left behind his wife, Emily, a 1-year-old daughter named Elizabeth, and another child expected to be born in June 2010. After his death, Nutty Putty Cave was closed, and the entrance was eventually sealed with cement, with John's body still inside.